Chapter 15, Information Search, the vignette talks about BMW, allowing people to build their own cars, and you can give all kinds of information beyond basic information that helps people want to buy your product. So information search. The first thing everybody does is they think about, what do I already know, what's in my brain, what's internal in my body. Then you go external and you can ask your friends, you can go look at independent reviewers, you can read reviews, you can read product information, you can go out and try it yourself. You can find out a lot when you go out and do any kind of information search. So ongoing information search is so you can, be ahead of the thing before you do it. Some people just like to do it and become experts and mavens and advisors and influencers, things like that. The types of information. It depends on, what you care about, what your options are, and how well each one's going to work against your criteria so you can make a decision. So first you come through and you say, what is it I care about? What do I need? Then you go through and you get this awareness set. This is everybody you can think of. And then you go through and say, well, these guys are okay, these guys are bad, and these guys are people I'll consider doing something with. Okay, so the awareness set's always bigger than the evoke set, or your consideration set, which means you know a lot more brands than the brands you're going to use. So most people have a lot of different brands that they're very familiar with that will take precedence over unknown brands. Alternative characteristics. When people are really trying to get a lot of information, which is generally for the tougher, more expensive things, they basically want to gather more information about more evaluative criteria, which basically means you're going to make a spreadsheet and consider all kinds of different things because you wouldn't possibly remember them all shopping if you went and shopped 10 brands. Sources of information. Obviously you think what you know, what you've already learned. You check your friends, you check magazines, government, you check sales information, and you go out and see if you can see it yourself. Internal information, again, that's what most people do. They call it stored. Marketers are continually looking for ways to make it appear as though it's not coming from them. So very quickly in social media they began paying bloggers, and now it's required that bloggers disclose that payment information so that you can know that it's not third party really. So the book talks about the internet and how many people use the internet. Oh, look, another typo in the book. You guys know better. 1 to 9, you spell them out. 10 and up, you use numbers. Okay, so you come along and economic considerations are a big deal. A lot of people really care, what the price is. It's important. But sometimes you just get too much information if you're trying to figure it out yourself, so you go to these places that have bots that will do the work for you, save a lot of time, and also people use word of mouth and personal sources, which means your friends and family and people you trust, to get an awful lot of information. Okay, segmentation and target marketing is trying to figure out all different kinds of ways that you can approach consumers to solve all their problems. So there's pushing, which is driving your information out, advertising, pulling people into your website, trying to get them to go there, and then you have to figure out whether you can or can't actually sell online. Some things work better and some things work differently. So if you're trying to push your information out, you have web advertising, banner ads, all kinds of things. Email is absolutely the biggest thing that marketers use. You have to nowadays, when you have people get on your email list, you're supposed to allow them to opt in, and if they want off, you have to allow them to unsubscribe. So even though they say reputable marketers do it, it's the law now. It's been the law since about 2004. So they also make the point that Facebook allows ads. It exists because of ads, and younger people like to do, they're multitaskers. They might watch TV and surf the web at the same time, but people have always advertised their websites to drive traffic to their websites. And if you have a good website name, it makes it a whole lot easier to do it. So, okay. Okay, so behavioral targeting means tracking your click patterns on a website and figuring out what you're doing, where you're going, which page you come from, how long you stay there, where you go from there. All websites have had this ability to track for 20 years almost. Concerns over privacy and transparency bother some people, but it's been around for so long, a lot of other people don't really care. Search engine optimization is where you try to get your website to come up the highest on a natural organic search. The number one thing that's going to make it come up high is having a good domain name. So they even speak up here about, you got to have keywords, and you've got to have keywords in your domain name. So if you have a good domain name, you've really got it made. They also speak about Google AdWords. Google AdWords means you're going to have an ad on page 1 or page 2, but you want to be on page 1, so you bid for different AdWords and you pay certain amounts to get your ad to be higher than somebody else's ad. They also have a thing, AdWords is on a search. They also have a thing called AdSense, where websites that get an awful lot of traffic and sign up and give away or allocate a certain amount of space, and they run ads in it, and they let Google serve the ads, and Google pays them about half the money. Most anything you do online, like ebooks and things like that, you get about a little bit more than half the money in general. They advertise it, they collect it, and you get about half. So another thing that makes people come to your website is you have frequently updated content. It has to be current, not just the same thing forever, if that's what you're using it for. Mobile search are all different kinds of people who have different amounts of involvement. Some people are very happy to have you pushing ads to them. They sign up for everything. Some people don't use the internet much, don't really care. Okay. Local mobile search. That's searching for things using your mobile phone or mobile device that has to do with a certain location. So if you're going to go look up hotels, you can type in a place and go to that location. AdWords and AdSense can also deal with your location. We can run ads where we say we only want to target people that are within 50 miles of this address, or people that are in the Kansas City metro, or people in this particular zip code. You can do an awful lot of targeted location. So people are now using cell phones more for local search, and it's not in this book, but it's come to the forefront now that if people open a coupon in an email, they're twice as likely to act upon it as if they open it on their desktop. So now people are trying to push the emails out at the right time if they have that opportunity. So mobile search. So there are different ways people search now. They rely on different kinds of apps and other things. I won't speak about this because this is homework. How much you look outside yourself. It kind of depends on who you are, what you care about, what you're interested in. So it's very limited. Most people only do a little bit. They just do so much they do so much research online, they don't have to go to the stores too much, but that's also a blessing, because if they've done their research online, they can go to a store, know exactly what they want, and save a lot of time. So they're just time shifting, where they spend their time, in the store with a salesperson or on their own where they control all their research. So a lot of people come in and only pick one brand, one model. That's because they've done their research. That's really what it is. So when they say extended searches are only between 7 and 20%, that's because it's very expensive stuff. Not everybody's buying. Okay, market characteristics, the number of alternatives, the number of prices, the percent you're going to save, because 50 bucks can be, 50 bucks to 50 bucks is 100%, 50 bucks to 500 bucks is 10%. So people are smart enough to figure that out. How close are the stores? If you have to drive too far or you drive out of market, it won't do you any good. I see ads for Jared. There's no Jared where I live, Jared Jewelry. It depends on how much information is around, but basically, if it's out there, people will learn about your brand. You want them to understand that your product is different. You want them to remember you. You want them to know about you. Some people know a lot more because they just love to shop, and they're kind of opinion leaders, market leaders, influencers. Some people worry about the risk, and if they go and look to what these people say, they can reduce their risk. Situation characteristics. A lot of people simply don't have any time. If a brand is trying to stay in your top of mind awareness, they basically are just maintaining, they're just making sure that you keep liking them. They try to keep improving their products so you keep liking them. If somebody's pretty loyal to a brand and you want to get in on that business, you have to disrupt the way they do things now. You have to convince them to do something different. So you either have to really change your product to make your product better, or you have to make sure your product gets in front of them and they try your product. It has to just look cooler, better, different, but you have to get their attention. You have to get their attention. Once you get their attention, you want to get as many of them as you can before somebody else gets their attention. So the intercept strategy. So they say you attract the consumer's attention because they won't be looking for you, so you have to go in there and get their attention. make sure that they're paying attention to you. So it's kind of hard to do sometimes, but you can intercept what they already believe and give them new information that they never would have thought about before. Preference strategy. That's where you want that brand to be the preferred one for your target market. You want influencers. That's something that has been popular for quite a while. You want to get people that are associated with it, celebrities, people that are leaders, to know about and interact with and be related to your brand. You also can get these nonprofit people like Consumer Reports. You can get different independent people to validate your brand. You can also come in and have all your salespeople use it and practice with it so they know what it's worth, and you can also spiff them by giving extra commissions. You pay the salespeople to push it through the channel and work hard to get it out there, because the faster they get it out there, the faster it'll catch on and everybody will make more money. They also have point of purchase, which is your last 6 seconds. You give those to all the people who will sell your products so that they can help push it all the way out the door. And then you obviously have to have a website for people who are going to do their research ahead of time. Acceptance strategy. This is where, you know, if you're really trying to make somebody like something, you just put it in their hands and let them drive it. So they talk about different products where they paid people to test their cars, they loaned their cars to people. I remember a long time ago, it came in my newspaper on the porch. They had a Mach 3 razor. Never had any intention of buying one of those. My son wasn't shaving age at that time, but because I had it, I put it in the cabinet, and sure as heck we ended up using that thing and buying all those refills. So you just want to get things in people's hands, however you have to do it, to get them to understand that your product is a nice product. So then they might go out and go forward. So here we are again at Learning Objectives, end of chapter 15. So end of chapter 15.